Okay, so we got this our baby bullet tube here set up, and just on a couple of parallels here, and I'm gonna put it in the vise this direction, and for a reason at least. We're gonna be cutting a slot through this, and I expect this thing to spring a little bit, so I'm mildly nervous about the fact that it may spring open or misbehave when I cut through it. So I'm going to put it in this direction, and I'm clamping it below where the activity is here. So I'm hoping that'll cause less heartache or excitement or whatever. So, all right, let's see what else. All right, we're going to use a. This is a Bassett 3-flute stub length. I've used these for quite a few years. Real nice tool. It's got little tiny corner radii so that it's chip resistant, and this one has a hard lube coating here. 3-flute. It only has 1 flute that cuts to the center. I try not to do plunging operations with these, but for side milling and slotting and stuff like that, like we're going to do here, it's going to work really good. So let me get that in the Mr. Coletti, and go to town here. You can see I'm choking up on it a fair amount too. So, all right. So I'm already centered up over the part here, and the slot extends from this side right here. Sneak around here, kind of like that. Of course, it will be much nicer looking than my my Bozo Sharpie mark there. So, what? All right, let's go down here, like so. And I'm gonna come down, and I'm just gonna, this isn't a precision length situation here. What am I doing here? 1600 RPM. Just gonna go until I touch off. That. I'm going to zero the DRO, and you see I got a little line right there, tiny little line, and I'm going to come in half the cutter diameter, since that's how my drawing is dimensioned. Reset the DRO, and I think I'm going to whittle away at this one here. I'm not going to take it all in one whack, because I want to end up with a nice slot. Use a little bit of oily oil here, and we'll come down and we'll just touch off on that angle. Alright, so let's take a pass. Sounds pretty tasty. Something behind the machine scared the crap out of me. 8, 9, right about there. So you can see there's not much left here, but that's okay. Come down a little more. Like I said, I'm just going to whittle away at this, kind of light cuts. You can see that That little Bassett end mill is just zipping right through there. It's like cream cheese. I'm running 1600 RPM right now. I'm just hand feeding here. Couple more and we'll have it here. Looks like it's through all the way, but I'm going to drop it down a little farther when I get to the back. Because of that corner radius. Back out. Alright. Alright, let's see how we did here. Alright, so we got a slot in there now. Let's stick some 1/4" key stock in there. And looks like it might be, it's pretty good. I'd rather have it a little tight at this point than any loose, so I think that's pretty good. So let's pop that out and then we'll deburr that and then see how it looks in that base. Well, first bozo mistake here. Wasn't paying attention. This is the end with the little taper on it. It was actually supposed to be the closed end, but it's the open end now. So I need to carry this slot all the way through this end. I'm going to go ahead and do that and see what happens to it and see if it's salvageable. Then we'll put it up on the base and see if I can, this gets a cap on this end and I may be able to fill that in with weld, or maybe I just have to make a new one of those. So let's see what happens here. We'll get this last little bit out of here, make sure I'm tight. What I'm worried about is, when it springs, which is right about now, see what happens. Not too bad. Okay, I didn't see it jump out. Certainly didn't jump in. Alright. Well, it's not that serious. Just, nobody likes to make a mistake, but what do you do? Alright, let's deburr that and see what we got. Alright, so this looks pretty good actually. It's not bad. So remember we added these extra 2 holes here, and the idea behind that was I was going to drop a couple of pins in there, at least temporarily, and these kind of key into my my phony keyway there that's simulating that keyway, okay, and they kind of lock this in orientation here. So let me see if I can flip this over here. So that's the little gap we're looking at there. When the end cap goes on, or when I go to weld that, I'm going to be welding right through there, so I think I'll just go ahead and fill that in and dress it when I weld that, and that'll be okay. That's at least what I'm calling right now. So anyway, that's not bad. One little bozo mistake there, not too radical, but that's okay. It's part of its charm is that it's the first time we're doing one of these. So okay. So now you can see I got a nice tight little weld I can do in there. It's got good fit up, so I can do a nice weld and blend that all in and make it look sexy like that. And our keyway behaves as advertised there. Okay. All right. Now I expect this to kind of close down a little bit when I weld on it a little bit, so I may have to hone a little bit out of there when I'm done. So, instant keyway. All right. Okay. So next step is a little bit of welding and get that thing stuck on there, and then we got some more hand work to do down in there to make it purty. Okay. Well, you got to love this. We're working on a Wilton vise. We're building a Wilton vise, but we're clamping the phony Wilton in the real Wilton. So I got this in here just to kind of get it squared up and in down tight in the groove there. So I want to get some tack welds on this and then take a look at it and see how it looks, and then we'll do some welding on that. So let me get the welder set up, and we'll get some tacks on that, and then we'll take a look at it. Alright, see what we can do here. Filler rod in that one. Take it out of there and then see what we got. So because of the little tack welds, it closed down a little bit. I was also squeezing it with a cant twist clamp a little bit too. I'd rather have it a little tight and have to do a little fitting than have it loose and not be able to do anything about And in retrospect, it's really nice to have this as a gauge. So maybe making this part first is probably might be a better idea, because you can use it as a gauge to kind of fit that. So and you know, when I weld this, I expect that to close down more. But I'm not super worried about it, in that you know, I can do something about it. I may actually stick the pins back in there, or put a piece of key stock in there while I weld it, just to kind of back that up, because I can always knock the key stock out this way fairly easily. So I'll think about that. Okay, so it's just tacked right now. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Looks pretty good, and I wanted to see, you know, how it's behaving when I tacked it. So so far so good. All right, so you guys remember I made a little boo-boo here. I had to run that slot out the end there when it's really supposed to be enclosed there. I started looking at it, and when this is in, you know, these diameters here, the diameter of the tube and the diameter here should be closer to one another, and I think I said something about that. Although looking at it here, it's actually going to be kind of difficult to take that down after it's welded on, right? So I started thinking about it, and I was like, nah, 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 nah. So what I did was I went ahead, let me pull that out of there, and I made another one. I had some more tubing, so I just went ahead and spun it out off camera, and this time I didn't bozo the slot. But what I also did was I added this other taper here too, so that when this goes together, those match nicer. Okay, so you know, there's going to be some welding in this area here, so it's a little more material that I'll have to fill in there, but I don't think it's a big deal. And it's certainly easier to do this while it's round and it's not welded to a base than it is, you know, when it's attached to a base. So what that means is this one's going away here. So I'm just tack welded on here, so I'll just cut these tacks and I'll pop this off, and then I'll get this one attached here, and I think we're going to be looking a little bit better there. And then the game will be we're going to do some welding in there, and we'll weld that gap up and go around, and then do some blending work in there, and then move on to the next step. So let me pop that loose, and I'll get this one tacked on, and then we'll do some welding. All right, do a little, I don't think I need any cleanup there. The other one on. See, I got a copper bar in there to support that keyway while I'm welding on it. See, that'll just get blended in. It'll look just like a casting fillet. Okay, and I got a little bit under here to do. Yeah, get that jigged up, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm gonna weld across here, but I got this copper bit in here, so this will keep me from intruding into that keyway there as I weld past that. The weld metal won't stick to that, but so I can run up right to the edge without fear of burning that edge away. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. All right, so we got it welded right up to the keyway here, around here, and you can see I've already started working that weld a little bit to blend it in, and so we're just gonna clean all that weld up and get it all fillet-like. So let's just go back to where I was here. This is the part I like. You know, for me, this is relaxing stuff here, just to kind of sit here and, you know, when the camera's not running, I got the radio going, and you just kind of getting into the work and taking care of business here. And, you know, if you have a reasonably smooth weld, it doesn't take very long to clean all this off and make it look real nice. You know, it doesn't need to be mirror finish or anything like that. It's not a mold. It just needs to be smooth enough with no scratches that would show through paint, because we will paint this and make it look all nice and pretty. And it's important when you're doing this here, if you see any low spots or what looks like a low spot, is don't go after it. Just let it be, and then, you know, you can always go back and add a little bit more filler rod to those spots, build them up, and then take them down. When you get into troubles, when you get you know, waves and kind of uneven stuff. Like I got there's a little low spot right there that I don't think is going to come out, and then there's a little notch right there. That's where I cut the other tube loose there. That's probably part of that. But so I'll probably go over and just add a little dab of weld in there and clean that up. You can see, you know, that's going to look really nice. This will be all polished up. Now, as expected, this tube distorted a little bit, so this doesn't quite go in here anymore. It's a snug fit. So now I'm not going to open that up just yet, and the reason is there's more welding to be done on this. So I think I'm going to do it after I weld the fixed jaw on and the little anvil, and then we can put it back in the lathe with the forejaw and then rebore that, so it's got a nice round cylindrical bore. So let me do a little more work on this, and we'll be back, and then we'll move on to the next operation. Alright, so there's the after a Carlos Santana album, Led Zeppelin 2, and a smattering of other songs. There's the end results. That's about as far as I'm going to take it right now. I have some little sanding cartridges coming that may be able to get in there a little bit better. These corners are actually the hardest part right here to get nice. It's a little tricky. That's pretty good right there. The rest need a little bit more work, but you can see that it's coming out pretty nice, not bad. And okay, so next bit is some of the stuff that gets built up on top of this. Actually, I'll probably do the end cap that goes on here, and then we'll blend that into the into this. So that's the next bit. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your viewership and you following the project. Thanks, guys.